but that Keith brought up, which I'm so glad we're going to talk about, and Joanna had also, when we spoke on the phone the other day, which is the power of representation in these games. And Keith, it was very cool to see that just you and Joanna, you actually put Joanna on your Zoom list. She didn't put you. You guys were ships in the night. And then you wound up connecting after that. How was that connecting with her once you guys were on the same team?
You're on mute. We can't hear you.
No?
There you go. You're good.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, and like Erica and Tommy can vouch for this. I was very sketched by Joanna at first. Because I put her down, she had put me back down, and I was like, have y'all talked with Joanna? She like hasn't talked with me before the daisy chain pick, and they were like, nah, same for us. I didn't think she was gonna want to work with me, but like us getting on the same team, I think we really connected and realized like, we are standing for a lot of the same thing, like, and have a lot of the same principles and such. So that was really great being able to connect with her. Just because like on my previous experience, like that, I didn't even have that opportunity. And like, that's what happens on a lot of these shows where they'll cast very few from marginalized communities and then like split them up instantly. So to be able to like have that chance to like work with someone who will get some of the things that you'll experience, I was like, of course I'm going to take that opportunity, because like, will it happen again? Probably not. So it meant a lot to me, and just for us to be on the same agreement and know and trust that I'm never putting your name down, you're never putting my name down. That was very comforting, and that's like a sense of a security that I got from this game that I'm going to cherish like long after this.
Joanna, did you want to say anything in response?
I didn't necessarily have to have a Zoom call with you in the beginning to know that I was never going to put your name down. And just because I don't talk to you throughout the day doesn't mean I'm talking about you. It was very important to me. It was extremely important to me. I was so happy that I got a chance to work with Keith after the merge. Lots of things did change at that point in time in my game. I had to adapt to a different situation after the merge, working with new people. And with Colleen, I wanted to like be like the dream team, like Colleen, Keith, and myself. But it just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. And yeah.
So I do want to touch down on that, because it did seem like the perception from you, Joanna, was that Colleen didn't want to work with you and Keith because of a bond that you and Keith may have. Now, having spoken to Colleen offline, Colleen, did you want to address that, clear up what you feel like the perception might have been?
That was never part of like me not wanting to work. Like that had nothing to do with why you guys connected. Like I just, Nicholas and Micah didn't say a single word to me before the daisy chain. Keith barely did. So I knew I was doomed on this team. I wanted to like throw Scott some love by getting a royal out and then be done. I was tired. I didn't think I'd make it this long in the game. And I was really thrilled to have hung in as long as I did. But I was here to have some fun, and it started to get exhausting with level 2. So it was what it was. And I just, once like the communication started getting like way crazier, I was out.
So Joanna, yeah, please go ahead.
No, you ask the question first, and then I'll.
Well, I want to better understand why you think that Colleen was maybe not respecting your reason to not vote for Keith, not go against Keith.
Okay, glad you asked. Well, I told Colleen straight out, because of the representation or the lack thereof in Quarantine Island of Black people, that I refuse to vote him out. But taking a stance with Keith for this is not taking a stand against Colleen. And she didn't seem to understand that. She actually said,
I literally, in the chat, my response to you was understood, period.
well, actually, I have screenshots of it, and we
It
can't
was
send it to
understood, period.
just say this really quickly. I don't want to be angry about this because this is actually a really good conversation that we're having right now. This is actually what I do every single day. I bring conversations like this to the table. And I think at the end of the day, I think it's important to understand, and I'm saying this with love, but the conversations that we were having, you were coming from a place of privilege, and ultimately maybe we'll never understand the Black experience, because when I came to you and said, hey, listen, it's not just about me, it's not just about you, it's about all three of us. Let's stay in the game for as long as we can, because it's like a strong Royals, and we wanted to be the three of us. And what you said to me was, I don't appreciate what you're saying, but I respect that. I mean, that's what you said. I have it.
I said I will never be able to fully understand that, because as a white person,
actually, that's not what you said.
I cannot fully understand. Like, I will never know what it was like to hear the things that you did growing up. Because like, as much as I try to learn, I might, and also one thing that you can't appreciate is the tiredness of having to take my daughter places that only has stairs.
Okay. So
I understand you guys are working on that, and that's fine. Like, I literally rolled over so you could get farther in this game.
No, I disagree with that. Because I think the merge never happened. If the merge never happened, I do believe that I would have been voted out. But that's neither here nor there, and that we'll never really know that. We all have struggles, right? We all have struggles with our family. I never share struggles about my children or my family, and I do understand that you have struggles as well. But aside from those struggles that we have with our family, we can't change the color of our skin, right? I just want to finish this really quickly, all right? And I will give you the complete floor after this. Someone from this community, and this is such a supportive community, and I really appreciate you guys, because someone from this community reached out to me and sent me a video that I did share with Keith. And it was a video of your QI goodbye. And instead of amplifying marginalized voices, you quite literally misconstrued the marginalized voice. And you said the reason why I wanted to be with Keith is because there wasn't enough pigment in your skin, which you and I both know is not true. Correct? You
told me that you would never vote against Keith because he was Black. And I said, okay, I don't expect you to. I didn't push you further anymore. Literally, my response to you was, understood, period. If you want to stand by Keith, okay. Like, I support that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not standing with you. I mean, I'm halfway.
Hold on. Give me a second. I do think it's an important conversation. Chris, I see you just give me a second. Go ahead, Chris, actually,
as someone who didn't go to any banishments and then was thrown into this kind of merge with all of you, with new players, Colleen, Keith, and Joanna, I do feel like a lot of the mistakes that I've learned from my game was not understanding how other people communicate online and through Slack. I know I bum rushed Colleen with a lot of information. I know Joanna and I were talking, and then it did start turning to gameplay, and I did get I just couldn't find a rhythm, and that might be my own thing. But that is just what we're all learning through this, is that it's so hard to communicate with just over Slack. And I think we all have just we're all so passionate. We have such strong messages, and I know that I misunderstood people. I'm pretty well aware that I was misunderstood with my intentions, but I think that's what's so hard to facilitate with the conversations. I was there that day, and I know that I threw some of the rhythm off because Colleen was very, very protective of Joanna. I was like having a connection with Colleen. We talked before the daisy chain, and she said that you were very trustworthy. She wanted to play with you, and that was my experience, at least with Colleen. But I
Mine
also,
too.
like, okay, so
Mine too.
So
I also know
I just
that-
want to validate, that like I know I come off like crazy on text messaging and all of that too, and I feel like I might have been misunderstood, and I'm learning from that. I think like some of that might be what is making some of this happen now, but it's still a good conversation. I'm not invalidating everyone. I think
it's an important conversation. It's an important conversation because it's not just about Slack and communication. It's literally about a person that went on the internet. Now, I run a nonprofit organization. I'm half white and I'm half black. My husband's white. My children are white. Like, I can't have people going on the internet saying that the reason why I didn't choose them is because they weren't black enough. Their pigment wasn't dark enough. That's just not true. And she knows that it isn't true. And so when that happens, it like crushed me. Like, I felt so betrayed. It was once again like what we do, Keith. It's like a fight that we keep fighting, and it's every day, and it's all the time, and it's the same thing. Like, well, the whole like all lives matter thing, you know, when we're not saying that Black lives matter more, it's just Black lives matter too. And when you go online and you say something like that without communicating with me or getting the right information.
Joanna, she was not allowed to communicate with you. I did not allow her to communicate with you because you were still in the game.
That's okay, but she communicated with you and you allowed her to say it, and then you put it on the internet.
I asked
without
her,
communicating with me. So then really it's on you, Kelsey, because you could have taken the responsibility knowing that she was saying that and then come back to me and said, hey, let's talk about this. Colleen said that you said, you know, and I know you run this nonprofit. So I felt kind of betrayed by both of you, to be honest, you know. And there's another video that I received from somebody, and I'll share that with you afterwards, though, because I don't need to.
Okay, great. I am happy to. I'm always happy to improve in this game. We are always looking to improve. I felt that when we cast everyone here, we made a very concerted effort for this to be a queer space, a non-racist space, a non-homophobic space, a non-transphobic space, a non-ableism space, to really make sure that we were casting what we felt were good people. I don't feel that we cast anyone who is that. Do I think that we have stuff to learn from each other? Absolutely. Do I think that people have a hard time understanding each other's experiences? Absolutely. I will never be able to understand what Colleen goes through with her daughter. I will never be able to understand what you have gone through in your life. 100%. I do agree with Chris that there is stuff lost in translation in the Slack. And so I posted her QI goodbye, knowing that her intent, and having looked at the Slack, that she was like, they don't want to go against each other. I'm going to respect that. I do think this is an important conversation. Keith, did you have something you wanted to say? Because I do want to move us to our next thing. I don't want to end this. I just want to make sure that we still have time to cover a few last things, and we can absolutely continue this conversation in a separate space. Go ahead, Keith.
I want to say that I very wholeheartedly am very thankful for it to even be able to have this discussion, because what you don't realize with like other games, other communities, other televised experiences for copyright infringement, is that these discussions will never take place. And so then it gets ignored, and then like emotions boil over and everything. The fact that this discussion is able to be had is so significant and so important. And I'm very appreciative to have it. Like, it's uncomfortable, but the biggest thing is that we have to be uncomfortable in order to get to a comfort space. And so I guess just like a huge takeaway that I want everybody just to think about is just to think about our words, because words are so powerful, and we can misconstrue something, or someone cannot understand what we're saying as well. And so it's important to be like, okay, I'm not understanding. Help me understand this. So just re-emphasizing the importance of words, and much appreciation for discussions like these.
Yes.
Thank you, Keith. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for saying that. Joanna, truly would love, I'm being so sincere, want to continue this conversation, want to know how we as a show can do better, how I can do better. Absolutely do not want anyone to feel like this is a not safe space for them. That is very important to us.